So, with the recent pandemic, millions of Romanians have decided to come back home. And even though a lot of people on social media are like, why are we letting them come home? It's like, listen, you twat, no country in the world can stop its own people from coming home. Not even North Korea. Like, if a defector from North Korea wants to go back into North, they will allow him there. Like, that is how the world works. Alright, so I have absolutely nothing against the Romanians who wanted to come back home. Now, of course, this created a couple of social problems because not all of them decided to follow the quarantine, and that is probably how the virus got into Romania. Now, that is one conversation that I'm not going to go into, but I want to point out that Romania is suffering for years for lack of labor. Like, people cannot find employment. There are articles after articles with Romanian farmers struggling in order to find employment. Because for the average Romanian, the average peasant, he could either work at home for a couple of $100s, or he could get on a plane, travel to Germany, and work there for a couple of $1,000s. Which one do you think he is going to go for? And it's not like the Romanian farmer is a greedy son of a bitch that wants to hoard all the wealth and keep all the money. No, he literally cannot afford to pay them more. So what ends up happening is that Romanian agriculture is suffering. There is land. There are people that could work the land, but no one does it because of the way the world works and the economy. All right, so now that you understood a little bit of how things are, I found out in the news a couple of weeks ago that Germany needs people to pluck the asparagus. And this is not Germany's problem. No, it's Romania's problem. I mean, it's not that the farmer from Germany could pay more money to incentivize people from Germany to work there. No, they need their serfs. They need their little colony of a country to send in the workers amidst the pandemic. Now, what I find absolutely funny and hilarious, and this is not just me, like, this is a sentiment by the overwhelming amount of Romanians that I see on social media, they are questioning the wisdom of the government, which now has almost dictatorial powers in order to get people like me to stay home. And I am a good citizen. I am complying. I am staying home. I am doing what the government has asked me to do. In order not to get other people infected, in order not to get other people sick, I am social distancing. I am like Darth Vader. If I want to choke someone, I'll use the force. So what happens is that all of a sudden, because Germany calls, the Romanian government beckons. And they have decided to send thousands of people during a pandemic onto buses, into planes, into Germany. So let me get this straight. Let me understand the wisdom of the Romanian government. So you're talking about banning groups of people more than 3. You're talking about only essential travel is allowed. So I guess Romania helping out Germany is essential travel. All right. They didn't take a single measure to protect these people from spreading the disease. None whatsoever. Like, this is how the people are standing in line at the airport. So I have to play Papers, Please every time I leave my home. Every single time I leave my house, I have to play Papers, Please, because in order to leave your house, you have to complete some paper where you're saying where you're going, at what time you're doing, what is your address, what is the reason for leaving the house. And if you don't do that, you can get fined anywhere from 1,000 to almost $5,000. I can't pay $5,000. I literally do not have the money to pay $5,000 if I get that fine. So I have to be extra careful when I'm leaving the house. And I see on social media, I see on Facebook, the elderly being harassed by the police officers and given fines because they haven't completed the papers. They haven't written them in the exact same way the government wants you to have. Like, they forgot the date, they forgot the signature, they forgot to mention something or some other, boom, $2,000 fine. To an elderly person that only earns $100 per month, right? Like, that is the situation. Meanwhile, when Germany calls, oh, all of a sudden we can adapt. Like, all of a sudden it's okay if people get infected, right? Is this the mentality that I should get from? Is this the wisdom that I need to take from the government? You know what else pisses me off? And this is even more infuriating. The Romanian president has asked the Romanians from abroad not to come back during these holidays. He didn't mention which holiday. I hope he didn't mean Christmas. But he actually said so, right? Like, please stay where you are. If you're in Italy, stay in Italy. If you're in England, stay in England. Do not come home during this time because we're going to quarantine your ass. But the moment Germany asks, is like, all right, fuck off from the just fuck off, right? Perfect, absolutely fine. Now, what happens with these people when they go into Germany? Are they going to be quarantined for 2 weeks before they're going to go and work the field? Of course not. They're going to like, look at the social distancing that happens in Germany, like cattle. They're being driven. These are my people. You know, these are our countrymen if you're Romanian. This is how they're being treated. Absolutely horrible. What is the precaution that they're taking to make sure people don't get sick? I'll tell you what it is. Like, work as fast as possible because the incubation period is 2 weeks. And then you can fuck off back to your country and the doctors are going to treat you there. Thank you for the asparagus. We're going to sell it back to you in Romania at a more expensive price, even though you have the land to grow your own. And people, like, they do not understand why I do not like the European Union, right? It's ideological as well. Germany cares about Germany. They do not care about Romania. They will never care about other countries outside their own. This idea of, oh, we're all European people and we're all in this together is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Every single nation is going to care about them first. And if they can fuck other nations in order to improve themselves, they're going to do it. And if you point it out, it's like, oh, you're anti-European. It's like, I'm not anti-European. I'm pro-European. I'm just anti-Brussels. It seems to me that the people in charge are pro-Brussels and anti-European. And don't get me started with the problems with the forests from our country. Like, they are being plundered to the point that even Greta Thunberg had descended from the heavens in order to have a speech here. There is this company, Holz Industries Schweighofer, which is plundering the forest like there is no tomorrow. Every day you get to see on Facebook trucks after trucks filled with lumber just leaving the country. And when people are asking the prime minister, like, hey, what the fuck? He has the balls. He has the balls to say, like, 90% of the wood in the country is coming from the outside. We actually import more wood than we're exporting. It's like, motherfucker, when is the last time you saw people filming from the Constanța port with the lumber coming in? Like, where are the videos on social media with the lumber coming into the country? Because it seems the lumber keeps leaving the country. And then he goes like, oh, we don't want to stop the export of timber because we're going to lose around 200,000 jobs. How many jobs did we lose when you shut down the restaurants? How many jobs did we lose when you shut down the hotels? So it seems you can do it, but it doesn't seem that you want to do it because, again, like the Austrians need their lumber. Is there, like honestly, every single time I hear in the news that some foreign country needs some shit from Romania, the people in charge are more than willing and more than happy to give it to them. And it doesn't have anything to do with the people that are in the ruling class. Like, regardless of who they are, whether they're left-leaning, right-leaning, far left, far right, like everyone from Hitler to Stalin is willing to sell whatever they can from Romania's natural goods. And no one is allowed to complain, because the moment you complain, oh, you're anti-Europe. You know, it's really upsetting. I'll say the least, and this is why I genuinely do not talk about Romanian politics, because there's just corruption. You know, a lot of people will say, well, the Social Democrats are the ones that sold the forest. Like, motherfucker, I know that the problem is with the person taking the bribe, but it's also the person giving the bribe. So I would say that Holz Industries Schweighofer is also the problem. I mean, look, people from Netflix that went to document their shit got beaten. Like, the Netflix team got assaulted by the thugs that are constantly taking away our forest. There was a ranger that was killed over this. Like, there is a big mafia in the Romanian forest just trying to steal the timber. And anyone that goes there with a camera, anyone that raises a little bit of fuss is going to have massive violence done upon them. And the politicians are protecting them because I bet they're getting some cash. Anyway, right, I just needed to get off my chest. I don't know if you got entertained from this video or not, but I just want to tell people, like, why I don't talk about Romania. This is why I don't talk about. There is nothing to talk about Romania, right? Like, literally, there are no internal decisions that are being done here that matter. And I guarantee to you, if you're a Romanian, wait until the economy crashes and you're going to see the stimulus package going only to foreign companies. It's to make sure that the foreign companies do not get bankrupt and they're going to use your taxpayer money in order to protect these foreign companies. Meanwhile, if you happen to be a Romanian company like myself, self-employed, you're going to get effed in the ass. You're the one that's going to have to pay the taxpayer money in order to sell Holz Industrie Schweigerhofer.